In terms of communication, it helps to be an engineer to listen to another engineer. I have personally found it really useful recruiting for my company. You know, you speak to them and they are a little shy. They like machines or code a lot more than human beings. So they don't like to explain too much. कि मतलब explain कर रहा हूँ मतलब मैं सामने वाले को बेवकूफ़ समझ रहा हूँ. It's important क्योंकि वो लोग कुछ करते हैं और समझा नहीं पाते हैं. And it's very sad कि कोड पूरा लिख दिया उसने और फिर वो चुपचाप देख रहा है मेरी तरफ कि you know ये तो in a real world, in a team, what you're going to hire this guy? क्या समझाएगा वो? My dad, when he was in NIT Nagpur, and then you know there was a company which came and said we're an electrical company, and they are like okay, 13 mechanical engineer hire किया, एक electrical engineer को hire किया था उन लोगों ने. So that time mechanical was the हथौड़ा छाप. Now the computer science guy is the हथौड़ा छाप. हर जगह पे इसको डाल दो. So we are adapting to the market, and coding is important.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.
Nobody will tell you this about YouTube, or any kind of side passion if you have. If you spend 3 to 4 hours a day on your passion and then you get back to work saying that this is going to put food on my plate, you will every day consider leaving your job. So, and you will suck at your job.
मुझे जानना है actually engineering colleges में क्या होता है? Because every engineer I talk to, they are either not happy with what they have studied or they think that जो भी उन्होंने पढ़ा है उसका real life में कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है. तो ऐसा होता है क्या?
ऐसा नहीं है. Not necessarily. What they teach you in college, गैलीलियो का टेलीस्कोप देख के आप टेलीस्कोप नहीं बना पाओगे, लेकिन आपको फंडामेंटल्स सीखने को मिलेगा. तो हबल का टेलीस्कोप देख के ये मत बोलो कि यार वो वाला इतना कूल है और ये क्या, ये तो कल का पुराना ज़माना का खटारा है. So just like that in computer science, you learn a lot of things, fundamentals in college, which you later on realize are pretty important. It's a fact that the teachers are very poor, usually. That's the reason why we are going back to YouTube. But the person who's setting the syllabus is usually really smart. So they have set up the structure right. We need implementation.
जॉब पाने के लिए वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है कि बिकॉज व्हेन यू आर सिटिंग फॉर दैट इंटरव्यू यू आर गोइंग टू बी जज्ड बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, राइट? कोई तुम्हारी डिग्री नहीं देखेगा. हाउ यू आर कम्युनिकेटिंग, हाउ यू आर पुटिंग योर स्टोरी आउट देयर इज समथिंग, मे बी दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. सो हाउ आर यू planning to change this? Because I know for a fact that you have started up as well. What is your startup doing right now, and did this germinate because of your YouTube story and you saw that gap, or there was something else?
In terms of communication, it helps to be an engineer to listen to another engineer. I have personally found it really useful recruiting for my company. You know, you speak to them and they are a little shy. They like machines or code a lot more than human beings. So they don't like to explain too much. कि मतलब एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ मतलब मैं सामने वाले को बेवकूफ़ समझ रहा हूँ. तो ये अगर यू नो इफ़ यू आर एबल टू ब्रेक इनटू दैट एंड से कि टेल मी एवरीथिंग दैट यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ, उसी से हेल्प होता है. उसके अलावा कम्युनिकेशन में वी हैव इन InterviewReady, दिस इज़ माई स्टार्टअप, वी हैव अ स्पेसिफिक कोर्स विच इज़ बिहेवियरल इंटरव्यूज़. आई थिंक यू फोकस अ लॉट ऑन दैट, स्पेशली इन हायर एजुकेशन. सो इट्स इम्पॉर्टेंट क्योंकि वो लोग कुछ करते हैं और समझा नहीं पाते हैं. तो एंड इट्स वेरी सैड कि कोड पूरा लिख दिया उसने और फिर वो चुपचाप देख रहा है मेरी तरफ कि यू नो ये तो in a real world, in a team, what you're going to hire this guy? क्या समझाएगा वो? He's going to write the code and then he's going to be like, okay, done. It's sad. In that sense, engineering needs it a lot more than probably any other field I can see.
So what exactly InterviewReady does? I mean, by the name of it, it tells me that it prepares people to be interview ready. But how did you come up with this idea? What was the origin story behind it, if you can share it with us?
Yeah, InterviewReady is more like there's job ready written out there, so it's a little more on that side. So in engineering, especially, I don't know if it's true everywhere, what you learn in college is very different from what you're tested on and what you actually do in the job. Your manager is going to say, "Ye kar lo," and you go like, "I have not done that in either place. तो मेरे को ऐसे क्यों expect कर रहे हो? You are expecting me to be an engineer. You want me to be an analyst in the interview. And you want me to be a researcher in college. totally different things. I'm not prepared for this. So what we want to do is we want to bridge this gap. And we want to help software engineers not just prepare for the interviews, but also kind of prepare for their jobs. And on the other side of things, we also want to help the companies bridge this gap. So we are doing that for software engineers. We have 3 verticals. One is coding, designing, like I said, and behavioral interviews.
What year did you start and how is it going so far?
2020, I was doing this alone. And last year, March...
Was this a pandemic business that you started?
No, so I quit I quit Uber in 2019, just 6 months before the pandemic. Then the pandemic started and I was like, yes, I don't need to explain sitting at home to my maid. So, but then after what? About a year, I realized that this is impossible to run by yourself. If you want this to be big, you have to actually, hire people, get strength.
कैसे हुआ? Tell me a little bit about that process. यहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग होंगे और people who are listening also to this conversation or watching it on YouTube. Startup करेंगे, एक idea आया, that's one thing, right? और वहाँ से materialize करना और startup को actually build करना is another ball game. So क्या हुआ ये journey में? मज़ा आया करने में या फिर?
पहले साल तो बहुत दुख हो रहा था. Your profits are equivalent to your actually you are pure profit. But your profits are less than your salary that you left. So at that time, it's kind of like a loss. Also, you're considering कि यार मैं इसको grow कैसे करूँ? चालू तो मैंने कर दिया है और मैंने सोचा कि बड़ा हो जाएगा लेकिन नहीं हो रहा है. तो अब मैं क्या करूँ? So I remember lying down in bed and looking at the ceiling and going like, this is a terrible mistake from my side. But then, if you're feeling like that, get some help. And I don't mean psychological help. Actually get some person who can help you in the company. The amount of things you can get done with a team is enormous. It's like one person going to the gym alone versus 2 people. It's huge.
Motivation.
Yeah. Checks and balances, motivation, absolutely.
To sum it up, your journey, if I have to, look at it from a hindsight perspective, whatever you just have spoken, आपको एक ceiling moment भी हुआ life में, आपको एक hike moment भी हुआ जहाँ आपने death के साथ कुश्ती खेला या पंजा खेला, बहुत कुछ हुआ आपकी life में जहाँ से आपने बहुत कुछ चीज़ें सीखी, right? With InterviewReady, what is your goal? What is your objective? Where do you want to reach? And do you think it's the right path that you have taken? And how do you decide that whether this is the right path for me or not?
Okay, so anything that you take, whether it's a YouTube channel or InterviewReady, in my personal opinion, if it's changing lives, then it's going to be long term because the impact is there and you feel like, wow, this is a good thing, useful thing. The other thing is it has to be sustainable. And sustainable means mostly one thing, money. So you have to be profitable. I think most MBA grads are very smart in that sense, but engineering grads are not. When we start, we say मैं देश को बदल दूंगा, society को बदल दूंगा, मैं, and then they realize that अरे बिल भी तो भरना है Vodafone का. So what is the impact InterviewReady is creating? We are helping people work from home at a time when their wife is pregnant and the company is saying come back. So we are helping people switch from a role that they don't want to work in, it's 9 hours of your life that you're dumping into a well. Instead, you feel motivated and happy and meaningful when you go back to work. We can help you transition to that.
How big YouTube as a support is in this entire ecosystem that you're building? And for people who are building their own businesses also, this must be a lesson for them as well. How to leverage that brand that you've built for yourself and how that is transpiring into your business?
For me personally, it brings a lot of trust. People who come through YouTube are much more likely to enroll themselves in the course. So you can leverage that through various means. One of the things you can do is, okay, fine, I am creating content over here. Also guys, by the way, if you want different kinds of content or a variety of content or more advanced content, whatever be the case, whatever works for you, you should direct them there. And don't feel shy. Don't, as an engineer especially, you feel very shy कि लोग मेरे बारे में क्या सोचेंगे. तुम रहोगे ही नहीं ज़्यादा दिन वैसे भी इस दुनिया में. तो just put what is in your mind forward, as long as it's not weird.
देखो सब YouTube channels तो नहीं बना सकते. मतलब you can't just tell people कि सबको कैमरा के सामने आके YouTube में अपना brand बनाना पड़ेगा. So what according to you will be the $1 million skill that will help people in achieving their dreams and making the right taking the right step towards their goals in life?
Okay, imagine you have a step called communication. Communication is the basis. उसके ऊपर आएगा content creation. तुमको YouTube channel बनाने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, but content थोड़ा ऐसे बनाओ कि जब आप उसको post करो सही जगह पे, maybe a blog. For example, I posted on CodeChef, which is a programming website. The entire network moved towards that post. Inside IM, you guys, you don't post in pubs and bars, right? You guys don't post in rifle associations. Relevant nahi hai. But if you post in IM, everyone is watching it. So just like that, when I started posting in portals which had a lot of engineering college students, you're actually going to get a lot of views. So you don't need to be a YouTuber or whatever. You just need to leverage those networks which have been built for you and are existing online. Connect with them, get them on board. And that'll give you a lot of views. If you have a good product, it'll work.
And what is your opinion about the creator economy and the boom that is happening? Do you think that it's going to sustain, or do you think that that's going to fizzle out in some time because it's like a hype that people have created?
I think it's going to sustain. I think it's always been this way. Valuable content and valuable, advice is valued. So yeah, this is going to happen. We are moving to online mediums. So the crazy thing is, like what you see on TV, you may not believe as much as what you see on YouTube, which is crazy because the guy is even less qualified. But you'll believe because he's a genuine, authentic person.
Superb. Okay. So now I'll go back in time when that entire conundrum of Bandra mein engineering padna hai was there in your life, to the 29-year-old self that you are. उस टाइम वाले गौरव से आपको क्या कहना है? What should have been the Gaurav at that time?
Don't feel shy is what I would say, one thing. And the other thing is, don't just float through your life, which you're doing right now. You're just earning a lot and you're thinking you're very smart. You're not fucking Julius Caesar. No one's going to remember you. So take that pretty seriously. Because you can die any moment, so that's interesting.
People might remember Gaurav Sen because he had a YouTube channel and he had subscribers.
Julius Caesar के बाद मेरा ही नाम आ रहा है भाई.
All right, Gaurav, thank you very much for sharing your story with us. So I will open it up to the audience now. If you guys have any question, Gaurav is here to take these questions of yours.
How would you approach the daily problems or the pain points which you get in your startup? Like, it could be आज electricity चले गई or I have to set up some API in some app. So how do you approach your problems, and then how do you find a solution to it? Maybe do you hire someone for it? Do you look for a consultant? What's your first response? That's my question.
First response, if possible, just outsource it. There's a lot of good tools that have been built. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit of money, but do that. For example, I was going to make a mailing engine. MailChimp exists, Gaurav Sen ka mailing engine अच्छे से बनेगा अभी. And it's such a dumb idea now looking back. It's been a year, we are still using MailChimp. So, and we are very happy with it. So if you can outsource the problem, if you can, don't outsource it to a human being. Outsource it first to a product. If not service, then human being. And then finally, of course, you can hire a person because the hiring cost is quite high. मुझे एक महीना लग जाता है लोगों को LinkedIn पे बोलने के लिए किसी को job चाहिए क्या? तो then they come, then I have to filter.
Job लेने को भी तैयार नहीं है.
मुझे भी देखना होता है ना कि मतलब कौन सर आप कौन हो? कोडिंग आता है क्या आपको?
I don't know about your audience. I'm relatively new to your platform, but I wanted to ask, what dream are you guys selling? Like all the coding related instructors I have seen, all the creators, one dream they are selling is the off-campus jobs, the jobs in the product-centric companies. So what dream are you selling, and how practical is it for 15 lakhs engineer we are creating right now to get that kind of a job?
कितने लोगों ने engineering किया है यहाँ पे? कितने लोगों ने MBA किया है? अच्छा हाथ रह गया है. The dream that we are selling is that when you go to your job, when you go to your team meeting, you will have things to add over there. So when there's a presentation which is happening, ऐसे चुपचाप बैठे नहीं रहोगे, very quickly, just straight out of college, you'll be actually able to contribute. You'll be able to understand and therefore also able to contribute. That's one part. The second thing is there's a lot of things which happen. There's a big hassle getting a job. So 12th standard के बाद IIT जाने के लिए there are many things which can be done to get into IIT. We want to simplify that process as much as possible. In fact, we are making it more complicated by adding another path maybe. But yeah, that's basically the idea, that we make you job ready, and in the process we also make you interview ready.
So I'm an electrical engineer. Unfortunately, circumstances didn't lead me to build a career in electrical. But what we have been seeing recently nowadays is that a lot of people are telling us this coding is becoming the bread and butter right now. Like irrespective of what industry you go into, like somewhere or the other, this has become a skill set that you need to have.
White
right?
Hat Junior तो बच्चों को भी coding करवा रहा है.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what happening. The dreams are being sold to even 6-year-olds right now. So what do you think, like, because fundamentally even right now I'm seeing mechanical engineers, while they're sitting at home, they are going through their online courses and everything, leaving AutoCAD, which is said to be something that mechanical engineers should learn, they're leaving that and learning Python or some other coding languages, probably to increase their employability or whatever it is. Do you think that fundamentally right now the curriculum, the course in engineering college or in general has to change or will shift, or is it changing because of the industry demands? Is this something that should happen, or is it a good thing that is happening?
I think it is a very good thing that's happening. Some of the things in your life are always to be automated. Knowing about Excel, for example, is very useful for financial analysts also. These guys also code in Excel macros. So it's becoming more and more normal. Mechanical engineers also have parts which they want to program. So basic, yes. If they're doing it to get a job, that is a little, I don't know, the market makes the demand. So if they say that I need software engineers, that's how it is. My dad, when he was in NIT Nagpur, and then there was a company which came and said, we're an electrical company, and they're like, okay, तेरा mechanical engineer hire किया, एक electrical engineer को hire किया था उन लोगों ने. So that time mechanical was the हथौड़ा छाप. Now the computer science guy is the हथौड़ा छाप. हर जगह पे इसको डाल दो. So we are adapting to the market, and coding is important. Whether you need to teach it to 6 standard kids, 6-year-old पे नहीं जा रहा हूँ, 6 standard kids, I think yes, it is useful. Like, it's helpful.
You can say that it helps you build your logical thinking and that structured thinking in a manner while you do coding. But essentially what is happening is, like, मैं तो देख रहा हूँ मास्टर्स के लिए भी लोग जा रहे हैं अभी, तो मैकेनिकल करने के बाद है कि हम इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम्स में करेंगे, नहीं तो मैकेनिकल का भी एक सबलेट करके मैकाट्रॉनिक्स में करेंगे. We won't do hardcore mechanical. We won't continue in that aspect. Because that thing is changing, I feel.
I don't feel sad because I'm a computer engineer, yeah. Like, but probably because of that, yeah. Otherwise, क्या कर सकते हैं, right? If you want, let's say you really want the color pink versus the color blue, and someone wants to be an engineer in the color blue, अगर नहीं है demand तो क्या कर, आपको नौकरी ऐसे ही तो नहीं दे सकते. तो it's not stoppable. Olympics runners, what's the point of having those guys? Yes, now we are getting offensive, yes. You're running, why?
Thank you, that's all.
यार गौरव MBA करनी है?
हाँ?
MBA करनी है? ज़रूरी है?
नहीं, मुझे तो नहीं लगता. एक एक्सेलरेटर प्रोग्राम में हूँ मैं अभी. महाराष्ट्र गवर्नमेंट, मैं जो टैक्स पे कर रहा हूँ थोड़ा सा उन लोग हेल्प कर रहे हैं मुझे बाय फंडिंग. आई मीन कॉर्नेल यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ उन लोगों ने टाई अप किया है, एंड आई एम डूइंग एन एक्सेलरेटर प्रोग्राम. आई एम लाइक सुपर इम्प्रेस्ड बाय द MBA, the stuff that you guys learn. Okay, we are trying to learn it quickly and at a very superficial level, but amazing. Yeah.
मैं भी कर लूँ फिर तो होस्ट बन पाऊंगा अगले साल.
हाँ, फिर आप बोल सकते हो कि तुमको चाहिए 20 लाख का पैकेज, तो ये करो. YouTube videos 1 million. If you really want a lot of views, actually achievement helps people get onboarded. Getting a job at Google, getting a job at Facebook, yeah, makes a big sense.
Superb. Thank you very much, Gaurav, for being so informal, so amazing, I would say.
Performance marketing, e-commerce marketing, content marketing. Is this the world that you see yourself in? If you dream to work in these roles at Hindustan Unilever Limited, here's your chance. Apply to AltUni's certificate program in digital marketing with HUL. The participants achieved a return of 12 times the investment with an 80% average salary hike. Hurry up! Apply now to the program from the link in the description. Limited seats available.